Imagine owning the corner where thousands of drivers stop every week. Every car needs energy, and every visit seems to place money directly into your hands. The tall roadside sign displays prices, the pumps keep turning, and the store stays busy from dawn until midnight. From the outside, a gas station looks like one of the simplest cash flow machines in retail. But the economics beneath the concrete are far more complicated than the glowing price board suggests. Most of the money collected at the pump never becomes the owner's profit. The station must buy fuel before selling it, and wholesale prices can change faster than retail prices. A few cents of lost margin on each gallon can erase thousands of dollars across a busy month. Meanwhile, the pumps, underground tanks, canopy, refrigeration, lighting, and payment systems require constant attention. A station can sell millions of dollars of fuel and still produce surprisingly little free cash. The most profitable customer may not be the driver buying $40 of gasoline. It may be the same driver buying coffee, food, and a cold drink during a 3-minute visit. So is a gas station really a fuel business? Or is fuel only the bait for a much more valuable retail machine? To answer that question, we first need to understand what the owner is actually buying. The visible property includes the convenience store, pump islands, canopy, signs, pavement, and parking spaces. The invisible property includes permits, supplier relationships, operating systems, customer habits, and access to traffic. Below the surface sit storage tanks and pipes that hold and move a regulated, flammable product. Those buried systems can be more important to the investment than the building customers see. The owner may buy the land and business together, buy only the operating company, or lease the site from another landlord. A branded station may also operate under a fuel supply agreement, trademark license, or franchise arrangement. Those contracts can provide recognition and supply stability, but they may also restrict purchasing, pricing, appearance, and store operations. A buyer, therefore, needs to separate the value of the real estate from the value of the operating business. The land may be valuable even when the store performs poorly. The store may be profitable even when the owner does not control the land underneath it. The fuel contract may be an asset if it guarantees reliable supply. The same contract may become a liability if its pricing formula is consistently uncompetitive. Traffic flow is another invisible asset. A corner with easy entrances from both directions can outperform a prettier site that drivers struggle to enter. The first price of entry is usually the purchase price or the cost of developing the property. That number varies dramatically by location, land value, store size, fuel volume, age, and environmental history. A small rural operation may require far less capital than a modern high-volume site beside an interstate. A simplified example will therefore use estimates rather than pretending that one price fits every station. Assume an investor acquires an operating station and its real estate for $3 million. The buyer contributes $900,000 of equity and finances the remaining $2.1 million. That loan immediately creates a fixed monthly obligation regardless of fuel prices or customer traffic. The buyer may also need several $100,000 for inventory, closing costs, licenses, repairs, and working capital. Fuel inventory is especially demanding because a tanker delivery can represent a large cash purchase. The station often pays for that fuel before every gallon has been sold to customers. A rapid rise in wholesale prices therefore increases the amount of cash trapped inside the tanks. The owner may need a larger credit line precisely when margins are under pressure. Older pumps can also require upgrades for payment security, software compatibility, or new fuel blends. A damaged canopy, failing refrigeration system, worn pavement, or leaking roof can add another unexpected bill. Environmental due diligence is essential because a cheap property can hide expensive contamination. In the United States, underground storage tank owners must follow rules designed to prevent, detect, and clean up releases. They must also demonstrate financial responsibility for certain cleanup costs and third-party damages. This means the station is not merely buying inventory and shelving. It is accepting responsibility for industrial equipment buried beneath a public retail site. Even after the acquisition closes, the owner may need to remodel the store to compete with newer locations. Better lighting, cleaner restrooms, modern food equipment, and faster checkout systems can increase traffic. However, every improvement consumes capital before it proves that customers will spend more. The purchase price is therefore only the first layer of the investment. The true entry cost is the price of acquiring, repairing, stocking, financing, and safely operating the entire site. Now we can examine how the money comes in. The most obvious revenue stream is regular gasoline. The station buys fuel at a wholesale rack price and sells it at a posted retail price. The difference between those prices is the fuel gross margin, not the final profit. That gross margin must still absorb card fees, labor, maintenance, utilities, shrinkage, and other operating costs. Industry reporting has often placed the average retail markup near several dozen cents per gallon over multi-year periods. After operating expenses, the amount retained by an individual station can be much smaller. Fuel margins also move in ways that surprise many drivers. When wholesale prices jump quickly, retailers may hesitate to raise the street price just as fast. They fear that a competitor across the road will appear cheaper and capture the traffic. Margas can therefore compress during a price spike, even though customers assume the station is getting rich. When wholesale prices fall, stations may recover margin if retail prices decline more slowly. This uneven adjustment can make one week look excellent and the next week look terrible. Fuel volume matters because a small margin multiplied by many gallons can still become meaningful gross profit. A station selling 150,000 gallons per month behaves very differently from one selling 40,000. Premium gasoline creates another revenue layer because customers pay more for higher octane. The Energy Information Administration reported that the 2025 national average premium price was about 93 cents above regular. However, the station does not automatically keep that entire difference. Premium fuel also costs more to acquire, and demand varies by neighborhood and vehicle mix. Diesel can be valuable near highways, industrial areas, farms, or delivery routes. A site designed for trucks may sell enormous volume but require more land, stronger pavement, and different equipment. Fuel is also a traffic generator. The bright price sign competes for attention before the customer decides which driveway to enter. Some operators deliberately accept a thinner fuel margin to create more store visits. The second major revenue stream is merchandise inside the convenience store. Customers buy beverages, snacks, tobacco products, household basics, automotive supplies, and impulse items. These products often carry higher percentage margins than gasoline. A $2 drink may contribute more gross profit than several gallons of fuel. The economics become even stronger when the station controls its own prepared food program. Coffee, breakfast sandwiches, pizza, fried food, and fountain beverages can transform the store's margin structure. The customer is paying not only for ingredients, but also for speed, convenience, availability, and location. A commuter who stops every morning can become more valuable than an occasional traveler buying a full tank. This is why large operators study the path from the pump to the front door. They use signs, loyalty discounts, mobile offers, and bundled promotions to move fuel customers into the store. A discount of several cents per gallon may look costly in isolation, but it can be profitable if the offer creates repeat visits and higher margin purchases. The third revenue stream can come from services. Depending on the site, these may include an automatic car wash, air pumps, vacuum machines, an ATM, parcel lockers, or lottery commissions. A car wash is particularly interesting because the equipment can turn a fuel stop into a higher ticket visit. Its revenue can be recurring, but weather, maintenance, water costs, and equipment downtime affect profitability. An ATM may produce fee income while also reducing the chance that a cash-seeking customer leaves. Lottery sales can increase traffic, although the commission retained by the retailer is only a fraction of ticket sales. Some stations lease space to a quick-service restaurant or another operator. That arrangement can create rent and bring additional customers without forcing the station owner to run the food concept. Advertising on pump screens, signs, or digital displays may provide a smaller supplementary stream. Fleet accounts can add predictable volume from local companies, delivery services, taxis, or municipal vehicles. However, fleet customers often negotiate discounts and may pay on credit rather than immediately. Electric vehicle charging is emerging as another possible source of traffic and revenue. The business case depends on electricity demand charges, charger utilization, dwell time, incentives, and local vehicle adoption. A charger may earn little directly during its early years, but still attract customers who spend longer inside the store. The hidden lesson is that revenue quality matters as much as revenue size. Fuel creates large sales numbers, while food, beverages, and services may create more attractive margins. But this is where the business becomes complicated. Every revenue stream carries a different cost structure. The largest expense is usually the fuel itself. EIA data show that crude oil, refining, taxes, distribution, and marketing all contribute to the pump price. In 2025, crude oil represented slightly more than half of the national average regular gasoline price. This means the station owner controls only a limited part of the price customers see. Federal, state, and sometimes local taxes must be collected or embedded in the transaction. As of January 2026, the federal motor gasoline tax was 18.4 cents per gallon. Average state gasoline taxes and fees added substantially more, Although the amount differed widely by state, card processing is another major pressure because many customers pay electronically. A fee charged as a percentage of the transaction becomes larger when the retail fuel price rises. The station may therefore pay more in card fees without earning a larger margin per gallon. Labor is the next major category. A long operating day requires cashiers, cleaners, food workers, managers, and coverage for absences. A 24-hour store must staff quiet overnight periods even when sales are low. Security costs can include cameras, alarms, cash handling procedures, lighting, and sometimes contracted guards. Utilities are substantial because refrigerators, freezers, air conditioning, lighting, signs, pumps, and food equipment run for long hours. Maintenance is unavoidable. Fuel dispensers fail, nozzles wear out, card readers malfunction, drains clog, and refrigeration systems lose cooling. The underground tank system adds inspections, testing, monitoring, record-keeping, insurance, and potential repair costs. EPA requirements include release detection, spill and overfill protection, operator training, and periodic inspections. Inventory inside the store can expire, break, disappear, or become obsolete. Prepared food can produce high margins, but unsold food creates waste. Insurance must address property, liability, workers, vehicles, crime, and environmental exposure. Rent or mortgage payments continue whether the station has a great month or a weak month. Brand fees, franchise fees, or contractual fuel commitments may also reduce flexibility. The owner must pay for accounting, licenses, software, pest control, waste collection, and compliance. A price war with a nearby competitor can reduce fuel margin immediately. A road project can block an entrance and reduce traffic for months. One broken sign or dirty restroom can quietly damage repeat business. The station therefore lives under dozens of small operational pressures that customers rarely notice. Yet experienced operators understand that the hidden engine is not the gasoline. The hidden engine is the conversion of vehicle traffic into repeated, high-margin retail behavior. Fuel gives the customer a reason to enter the property. The store must then give that customer a reason to leave the vehicle. Location determines how many opportunities the station receives. Operations determine how many of those opportunities become profitable transactions. A station with cheap fuel but a poor store may attract volume without capturing enough margin. A station with a trusted food program can become a destination even when its fuel is not the cheapest. Clean restrooms can influence travel behavior more than an expensive advertising campaign. Fast checkout protects the customer's most valuable resource, which is time. A loyalty program can connect anonymous pump transactions to identifiable purchasing patterns. That data allows the operator to target offers, measure frequency, and reward valuable customers. Scale strengthens the engine because a multi-site operator can negotiate purchasing, distribute private label products, and share management systems. Independent owners can still compete through local knowledge, personal service, and faster decisions. The land creates a second hidden engine. A well-positioned corner may appreciate because traffic and surrounding development make the site increasingly scarce. However, environmental risk and restrictive zoning can limit alternative uses. The owner must therefore distinguish operating value from real estate value. Strong store profit can justify the business even if the land appreciates slowly. Strong land value can protect the investment even if fuel demand weakens. But relying on land appreciation cannot repair a station that constantly loses cash. The best properties combine traffic, access, operating discipline, and future flexibility. Now imagine that the model begins to fail. Our hypothetical station sells 150,000 gallons per month with a 38-cent fuel gross margin. That creates $57,000 of monthly fuel gross profit before operating expenses. The store also generates $180,000 of monthly inside sales at a 35% gross margin. That contributes another $63,000 of gross profit before labor, waste, utilities, and overhead. Services and rent contribute an additional $10,000 of gross profit. The station therefore begins with approximately $130,000 of monthly gross profit. Now a new competitor opens nearby and prices fuel 8 cents lower. Volume at the original station falls by 20% because price-sensitive drivers change their route. At the same time, wholesale prices rise quickly, and the owner reduces the fuel margin to 28 cents to remain competitive. Fuel gross profit falls from $57,000 to about $33,600. Fewer fuel visits also reduce inside sales by 15%. The store's gross profit drops by roughly $9,450. Total monthly gross profit has now fallen by more than $32,000. But payroll, insurance, debt service, tank compliance, and most utilities barely decline. The owner cuts maintenance and delays, replacing a failing refrigerator. Products begin spoiling, the store looks neglected, and customer reviews worsen. The lender still expects the same payment, while the fuel supplier may tighten credit if invoices are late. A small traffic loss has now become a liquidity problem. If a tank leak or major equipment failure appears at this moment, the business may not have enough cash to respond. This is how a station can move from profitable to distressed without ever running out of customers completely. Let us rebuild the full financial picture using the simplified base case. Annual fuel sales equal 1.8 million gallons. At a 38-cent gross margin, fuel contributes about $684,000 of annual gross profit. Annual inside sales equal $2.16 million. At a 35% gross margin, the store contributes about $756,000 of gross profit. Services and rental arrangements add approximately $120,000. Combined annual gross profit is therefore about $1.56 million. Assume payroll, utilities, repairs, insurance, fees, administration, waste, and other operating costs total $1 million. That leaves roughly $560,000 before interest, taxes, depreciation, and major capital spending. Assume annual debt service is $220,000. The remaining cash before taxes and major replacements is approximately $340,000. On $900,000 of initial equity, that result looks extremely attractive. But the apparent return ignores future pump replacements, pavement work, remodeling, and environmental surprises. A prudent owner would reserve part of the cash rather than distributing everything. In a strong case, higher food sales and stable fuel volume could raise annual cash flow above the base estimate. In a weak case, compressed fuel margins and lower traffic could reduce cash flow towards zero. The investment's payback period might be only a few years in the strong case, and effectively never in the failure case. The eventual sale price will depend on verified earnings, lease terms, equipment condition, environmental records, and land value. A buyer paying too much for temporary margins can suffer even when the station remains busy. A buyer acquiring an excellent corner with poor operations may create value through better execution. This is not really a business that manufactures gasoline. It is not even primarily a business that predicts oil prices. The station is a roadside retail platform that rents convenience to people in motion. Fuel is the recurring need that creates traffic. Food, beverages, services, loyalty, and speed determine how valuable that traffic becomes. The underground tanks make the property operationally powerful and environmentally sensitive at the same time. The price sign is a customer acquisition tool displayed in numbers large enough to be judged at driving speed. The convenience store is the margin engine hidden behind that sign. The land is the long-term option beneath both businesses. Owning a gas station can be highly profitable for an operator who understands retail, compliance, pricing, people, and cash management. It can be disastrous for an investor who mistakes revenue for profit or assumes the property will run itself. Success requires enough capital to survive volatility and enough discipline to maintain equipment before problems become emergencies. The best owner is buying traffic, trust, operational control, and a scarce location rather than simply buying fuel pumps. And that is the real economics of owning a gas station.